How's it, guys? This is Davey FPL and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey live stream. We're just under 55 minutes till the penultimate game week 37, so that's the second last game week of the season and therefore the second last stream of the season. So if you guys have joined, thank you for joining. I know it's a bit of a weird one, Friday evening current in my time zone. It might be early Saturday, it might be early Friday, depending on where you guys are on the world. So let me know where you are watching from. And let's just hope that it's going to be a nice little deadline stream. Do you have two fixtures coming up? Might be some early team sheet news, might not be, who kind of knows. And decisions have to be made because I've made no transfers and I'm probably going to use one by that game week 37 deadline. So also let me know if you guys have any questions about your team, about what transfers to make, and let's just hope for a chilled stream. The past few streams have been pretty all over the place. This one might be. Let's just see what early team sheet news we do get. And also let me know how that overall rank is looking, because a bunch of you over on Discord are telling me that you're top 100, top 1,000. So if you do want to flex your rank, this is going to be the stream to do it. As come game week 38, I think everyone's going to be focusing on what punts to take that are a little bit differential. So just let me know if the audio and the video are looking and sounding Gucci, and then we can head on to all your questions as well as what I plan to do with my team. Currently looking at those Aston Villa assets. A lot of people are doing this, targeting Ollie Watkins. Early kickoff, and I've just seen a bit of news that I wasn't too happy about. Just someone in the FPL community captaining Ollie Watkins that hasn't had the best luck this season. So just give me a second why I kind of bring up the chat on the side here. We seem to be running fine, no lag, so let me know. Yaquibus is saying that, he's saying, morning everyone, it is 4 a.m. in New Zealand. What time of a deadline? So that is just unfortunate. The things you do for FPL. But don't worry, Yaquibus, at the end of the day, we only have 1 week left after this. So then you can catch up on that sleep that you're currently missing. Andy's also popped in with a question quite early on. He's saying, how's it, Davey? Continue your help from Discord. Keep KDB over Haaland. Okay, so I saw this question just before I went live. It's a tough one because, as I've mentioned, I kind of feel like Haaland coming back just from injury might be more susceptible to the occasional bench. But what also could happen is against Crystal Palace, he might be subbed off earlier. I kind of think in terms of the options, I think on paper Haaland's better than KDB. I just feel like with this kind of home fixture, the last home game of his Man City career, a lot of hype is being generated about that. If you buy into that hype, then you will just keep Kevin De Bruyne. Otherwise, Erling Haaland's okay. But it's just kind of the replacement for Haaland is better for me than the replacements for Kevin De Bruyne. So you're probably looking at Ollie Watkins for Haaland. That just makes more sense to me than bringing in a Palmer, bringing in a Rodgers, someone like that. So I would target Ollie Watkins, and that's why, for me, it's keep Kevin De Bruyne over Haaland. That's my kind of 2 cents about it. Light Rays also saying, how's it, Davey? Got in quite early. Gunawan also saying hi, as well as Tarang saying the video and the audio are Gucci. Osama saying hello from Pakistan. Which one is better? Shade in and Murphy out, or Watkins in and Mateta out? Watkins and Mateta out. That's pretty simple for me. Hey Davey, I've got the Nottingham Forest assistant manager active. 1 free transfer. Would you change him to someone else or change a player instead? So Saint, it's quite tough because obviously I don't know the context of your team, but what I can do is I can go and bring up some projections, because basically what you want to do is, if you're going to use this free transfer on a manager, which I do think is worth it, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to use it. You obviously want to go for a manager that has a good fixture this week as well as a good fixture next week. So I mean, someone like an Unai Emery could be pretty good, but you say that you have the Nottingham Forest manager who has West Ham. I would hope that they do beat West Ham, but then they've got Chelsea in game week 38. So, I mean, it's tough because you probably want to say Arteta, but then he's got Newcastle this week, which is quite tough. Next week, we've got the Bournemouth manager who has a very good fixture. This week, though, it's Man City. I mean, I would probably be tempted a bit more by the Bournemouth manager, because I mean, I don't think they beat Man City, but they could do something against them, and then it's a table bonus. It's just depending on, is that worth the extra transfer? Maybe just let me know if you were to make a transfer, who would it be? And then maybe we can break it down. I do feel like a assistant manager transfer is pretty good though, because they obviously have that very high potential. Connor's saying, who's the best triple captain remaining? The best triple captain remaining is, I think I might just postpone it till game week 38, because then there's a lot. You've got Saka against Southampton, you have Kluivert or Evan Nielsen against Leicester. This week it's a bit tougher. I mean, you could use it on Ollie Watkins, but I think I might just use it till next week, and then we can discuss this, Connor, next week. But if you want to know my early projections, it's either going to be like a Salah versus Crystal Palace at home, it's going to be, as mentioned, the Bournemouth assets, or it's going to be Saka against Southampton. Probably we'll just wait and see. Because if, for example, Arsenal secure top 5, maybe not Saka because he might be rotated, who knows. Streamers Gucci says, Chris. Okay, so sorry, I'm looking at chat right at the above, so I do apologize. I'm just catching up on the chat. Goose is saying hello from Australia. I do apologize, Goose. It's probably very early where you are, so I'll try and keep you awake. Hello from Santon. How's the weather there? Pretty cold. Best free hit thoughts. So I would look at your team. If this week it doesn't look too great, then I would use it this week. Otherwise, game week 38. The only problem is that game week 38, there might be massive rotation, but I might postpone it because the matchups seem a bit better next week. Unless this week your team really doesn't look good, but I think there could be some good punts there. It's midnight here, okay, so not too bad. I don't know your sleep schedule, Goose, but let's just assume that you go to bed at like about at 12. So then it's not too bad. Andy, then Sar to Saka. Yeah, so Andy, the only thing that could come back to bite you, as mentioned, if Arsenal secure top 5 and then Saka's rotated. But on paper, I kind of feel like Saka against Southampton, you'd probably want him for that game. So that's why you're just preempting that move. You could do like Palmer this week and then Saka next week, but that's an extra transfer. So maybe look at your team next week and see how it goes. But yeah, I would probably say just get Saka in there. Salah to Palmer / Enzo. So Ahmed, who would have thought that you would be saying sell Salah at his expensive price tag for Enzo? Salah to Palmer probably makes more sense. I probably prefer Palmer to Enzo, but I would just keep Salah, to be honest. Unless you want to captain Palmer. If you want to captain Palmer, then that's okay. Are we making a change? At the moment, I would say Mateta to Watkins is looking likely. That's probably going to be my move. I'm just deciding between the potential midfielder -4, which is like Rodgers in for Saar or something. Giroud, will you ref? No, I will not. Unfortunately, I don't know. I don't think I'll qualify. Beto captain, Aleph G. If you're going to go for Beto captain, you either want to rise the ranks a lot, or you are not happy with your rank and you just want to see where you finish. But that's a maverick move, captaining an Everton striker. I was thinking about changing the manager to Everton. Okay, so Everton next week, though, have Newcastle, which is tough. But are you maybe saying that there could be a potential positional bonus? I don't know, though, because it's Newcastle at home and they have to qualify for Champions League. So that's my only concern. Okay, but you've literally, sorry, I read your question too quickly, Saint. You've literally stated there. So I'd say Bournemouth. I'd take the punt on Bournemouth, and then if they can get something against Man City, I mean, if there was a time, it's 3 days after the FA Cup, Bournemouth are looking okay, I'd say Bournemouth manager. Makes it even better if you have some Bournemouth assets in your team. Captain Salah or Bumo? The only concern I have with Salah, and probably the majority of you have it, is that he was in Dubai for the majority of this midweek, as most of the Liverpool team were. I think Slot said today that it was the first time they're training today, so he doesn't know what the team is going to be. That would put me off going for Salah. I'd probably just go for Mbumo then. But I'm not super excited about my Brentford assets this week, I won't lie. What about the West Ham manager? Plus, it's a table bonus fixture. It is a table bonus fixture. I just want to check who West Ham play next week. They play Ipswich. Okay, so the West Ham manager could also be a potential there if you want to go for old Graham Potter. Actually, Graham Potter might actually be the one to look at. Sorry, I actually completely missed that because they have a good matchup next week as well. So Yeah, maybe Graham Potter's the one that you want to go for if you want to go for a punt. Thanks, Sean, but Fran's also pretty good. And what's your current plan for Game Week 38? So, Andy, this is the problem, because if I bring in Watkins for Mateta, it blocks me off from doing Saka in. So I will therefore have to go for Kluivert, or I have to go for Evan Nielsen. And that's why I was looking at potentially like maybe an Evan Nielsen instead of a Watkins, but I want to captain Ollie Watkins. So that to me makes a bit more sense. It's almost a no-brainer to do Mateta to Watkins, in my opinion. Isaac to Watkins is a bit tougher. So at the moment, that's the move, and then I'm almost just going to have to see what happens. I don't want to take a -4 in Game Week 38, but maybe we just see what kind of takes place. Because those Game Week 38 matchups are so good, so it might just be worth it. Chris, sorry if you've already answered my my internet crash. No, sorry, Chris, I missed the question. Which three do I start? Neco Williams, Burns, Saliba, Munoz, and Guardiola. Viva, Jamie, Vardy. Okay, so I would go for Munoz. I think Munoz would be a lock. I would also probably go for Guardiola unless you own another Bournemouth attacker. And then it's quite close between Neco Williams, Burn, and Saliba. But I think I would go for Neco Williams because you probably own Isaac. But if you don't, just let me know. Thoughts on Semenyo to Rodgers? So that's okay, Mitch, especially if it is for free. It's just that Semenyo has Leicester next week, which is really good. But I'd say it's probably worth it for a free transfer this week. So also some questions here. Connor's saying, I can't afford Mateta to Watkins. Would you do Saad to Rodgers instead? Would you captain Rodgers, Connor? Because then that might be okay. If you want to captain Rodgers, otherwise you could also go to Evan Nielsen because you want him next week anyways. So I would say that also looks pretty good. Ryan is saying, hi Davey, trying to protect a 10-point lead in my mini. I have Salah, Mbumo, Sark, Kevin De Bruyne, and Rodgers. Forwards of Visa, Isaac, with Mamouche on the bench. Should I go Isaac to Watkins, one free transfer? I'm trying to protect. So Ryan, you have the tough spot of trying to predict what your second place is going to do. If you think they're going to bring in Watkins and captain him, then I would just do the same, even if it is at the expense of Isaac. Unfortunately, you just have to kind of predict what your number 2 is going to do, and then you see what happens. But I think that move on paper does look okay, though. Gia is saying, hey, Davey, KDB's time has come. Thinking I'm selling to Palm and captaining him. What's your moves this week? Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm probably looking at Mateta to Watkins and captaining Watkins. Milos is saying, boss, Saad to Neto or roll for the final week? I would say Saad to Rodgers or Saad to Asensio instead. But if you don't want to do that, then just roll for the final week. Tarang is saying, Wan-Bissaka, Guardiola, Ruben Diaz, Saliba, Kiwior. Which three should I start? I would go Wan-Bissaka, Guardiola, Ruben Diaz, and bench Saliba, Kiwior, and just hope that Isaac scores. Goose, yeah, I'm captaining Watkins if I do bring him in. I already have Rodgers. Okay, so Milos, I just rolled then. My question up top, whom should I? Okay, so cool. I just answered it. Tarang just asked me if you want any follow-ups. Would you either do Isaac to Watkins and captain, or Rashford to Asensio and captain and Boomer? I prefer the Watkins captain this week. I like Asensio, but I just worry about the game time. I know that this week Ramsey's suspended, so he should be okay. But then you might want him for next week, and then his minutes might not be that good. Bench Isaac, Wood or Saw? I think Espen would bench Saw because there's uncertainty about his starting position. No Salah and blocked from Saka next week. Do I triple captain Watkins now or do a -4 for Saka or Bournemouth asset? So Colin, my only concern is there's a lot of speculation on what the Spurs team is going to be tonight. Look, I don't think it matters. I think that Aston Villa should still win. But I'm going to be on the side that I think it's going to be a stronger starting 11 just with the final in mind. And if that is the case, maybe Watkins isn't the best triple captain. He might still do well, but I almost always go for the least uncertainty. And for me, if you know that Evan Nielsen or Kluivert's going to start against Leicester or Saka's going to start against Southampton, that to me just might lead me more towards the -4 or Bournemouth asset. It just depends on it. It's like, what's your risk appetite almost? Because I always, with the triple captain, I try and make it as easy of a decision as possible. And I don't know about Watkins this week, but I mean, I'm still captaining him, so I still hope that he does well. Chasing rank says Vernon, what do you think of Vardy and Watkins for a hit, and captain Vardy? What do you think? I mean, I think Vardy scores. I mean, it's just written in the stars basically. What it's his 500th game to score his 200th goal. So I do think he scores. I just don't know if I trust Leicester though. That's why I would probably just still go with Watkins. I'm on Pep with the last assistant manager remaining. Should I move to Potters from -4? I just think I would avoid hits, and I think I would just go for Pep. Just keep Pep. In or keep Pep? I would just keep Pep. Fanta. If we go for Watkins then next week and we can't get Saka, who would the ideal triple captain be on? It would be probably one of the Bournemouth assets, or you could go on Salah, just be like kind of old-fashioned. Because what I think is going to happen is this Brighton game's not going to be the best for Liverpool, but I think the Crystal Palace one will be pretty good. Who would you drop for Watkins? Wood, Isaac, or Visa? One free transfer. I drop Isaac for Watkins. It's not essential, but I would say if you want to captain Watkins, I would do it. That's what I would say. But if you're not super keen on captaining Watkins, you think that Mbeumo Salah is a great option, then you don't have to bring him in. You can just keep what you have. For me, it just makes more sense because I honestly think Mateta gets benched on Tuesday or Wednesday. It just doesn't make sense to me after the FA Cup with Nketiah coming off for him anyways on like 60 minutes for him to start this one. Maybe he starts and gets 60 minutes again, but I'd still sell then. And that's what's tough for me. It's because it's kind of like, who do I look at? I mean, I could do like Murphy to Rodgers or someone like that, but I just don't know if it's that great. I mean, could I do Murphy to Palmer? That could also be a little bit spicy, but I don't think so. Yeah, I can only afford 9.8, so. Is Pep to Potter? So, sorry, I just answered that question. I said no. You're going for the Brighton manager, Dylan, table winners, literally on the beach. They are on the beach, but you never know what's going to happen. Like, I mean, I think those Liverpool players still have their fitness. Would you sell Isaac to Watkins, but not captain for free? It's an okay move for free, but yeah, as you said, not captaining him it's a bit sideways then. Maybe you could just keep Isaac. Can you rate your top 5 captains, Jay? So, okay, let me just think about this. Okay, so I personally feel that Watkins is the best. I would probably put Palmer at second. And then I think Mbeumo comes third, Salah fourth. Yeah, and then the fifth is tough because there's a lot of players that I can kind of think of. But maybe if we had confirmation that Haaland or Kevin De Bruyne starts, I mean, Saka's also there, but I just don't know if I trust that fixture. I'd probably take more of a punt. Maybe Vardy. Let's go Vardy for fifth for 500 games. Let's do that. Can we see the stats this week, Tarang? You can. Let me just make sure that you guys can see them. Okay, cool. So the biggest change has been, I think, after Ange's press conference, because he came out and said that he's going to rotate, which I don't know if he will or not. It was very kind of cryptic. It was like, I'm going to rotate, but I'm going to pick the team that can win the game the most. So they have had a massive boost to 2.7, so they are the highest projected goal scorers. We also have Chelsea at the top there with 2.2, so two high projected goal scoring games tonight. It's going to be Palmer versus Watkins, and Mbeumo plays a bit later, so he's on 1.85. Man City also looking pretty good, 2.2. And then the rest are kind of filtering in there. I mean, as mentioned, Beto, captain, is in option 2.1 against Southampton. And then in terms of the clean sheets, it looks like Everton, Aston Villa, and Chelsea look pretty good. Man City's slight drop-off, that's why I'm going to still start Guardiola. The only thing, though, is going to be who to start maybe between your Arsenal assets and anyone else. And Arsenal definitely have the highest projection, but I'm starting Isaac, so I kind of hope that he manages to perform. So yeah, I'll leave this up for you guys. Any benching dilemmas, that sort of thing, you guys can kind of handle here. The one thing I'll say is that the Crystal Palace projections aren't that great. So even if they do start, it's not looking fantastic. And that's why I'm thinking about potentially like a Rodgers from -4. But you don't want to take too many hits late into the season. Let's just say that. Okay, let's just take a look here. I'm just looking at Twitter to see if there's anything that's happened. I don't think so, though. It's a little bit early for early team sheet news. Yeah, I think it's a little bit early, so we might have to just wait slightly longer. Yeah, but interesting kind of projections. They've moved a bit. Liverpool, Brighton, there should be goals in it for both teams. As you can see, like a 17-18% clean sheet chance is not looking fantastic. And then your Jamie Vardy is 1.6, and hopefully Vardy takes one of those goals. But yeah, actually we can do a CAMC poll. I think let's do a little bit of a poll here. And Visa Rodgers starting, help me. Spencer, try and start both of them. That's insane. Just let me know the rest of your team. Spencer, thank you for the super chat though, but I would try start both of them. But if you had to choose one, I think you might go Rodgers, just based on the fixture. Okay, so I'm going to do a CAMC poll here. You guys can let me know who your captain is. I'm just going to go over the main ones. If I haven't selected your main option, then just don't vote. But yeah, I think I've highlighted the main 4. Let's just say that. Think Eze will play. So I think with the younger players like Eze, Sarr, there's more of a chance of them starting. I'm not super confident, but with my current team, I don't want to start like a Murphy against Arsenal instead. So I'd rather just take the punt. But that's why I'm worried about and thinking about a -4, because if those two players don't start, then that's going to be a bit rough. David is saying, I'm 0.8 short of Mateta to Watkins, 1 free transfer Evan Nielsen, or 14 points off my mini league leader. So yeah, I think I would then, what you could do is you bench Mateta, but you'll want to sell Mateta next week anyways because they have Liverpool. So I think Evan Nielsen's okay. I think that's fine. I would do that transfer. Last home game for Arsenal, I think they'll focus for a clean sheet and a win. That is true, but then that's why I maybe should sell Isaac as well. If I'm thinking Isaac's going to blank, but I guess, I don't know. I mean, that could just be crazy thinking. But definitely, they're going to try and keep a clean sheet, but the question is, can they? Bench Alanga or Sarr to start Vardy. This is a classic, in my opinion, question about the... Okay, but poorly outbench Sarr because of the uncertainty of a start. What about Visa as captain? I don't like it as much. I'd prefer Mbumo because he's on penalties, that sort of thing. Eze, Sarr, Murphy, which two to start? Tarang, same as me, brother. I'd feel dishonest if I told you anything other than what I will be looking at. Isaac carrying an injury too, that is true, and that's why there's a debate of, let's say Newcastle secure top 5. I don't know if they can even this week, but if they do secure top 5, will he be risked in the Everton game, or will they just send him for surgery because the season's done anyways? There is that debate to have, but I guess maybe we address that next week if it happens. What's our plan now anyways? It's going to be Mateta to Watkins captain, I think. I'm almost a victim of my team because, yes, it blocks off Saka next week, but, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just think Mateta to Watkins is a no-brainer transfer. Should I start Isaac or Cunha? Based on the projections, they are exactly the same. So it's Newcastle or Wolves. I did see some potential news about Cunha's minutes not being that secure. And obviously that's because he's going to be leaving in the transfer window. But I still feel like he should play. Who to start? Sarr, Neco Williams, or Saliba and Murphy? I'd start Neco Williams and I'd start Sarr. I'd just bench Murphy. Because if you start Murphy, you hope he scores against Saliba. So those two kind of contradict each other, I think. Okay, so the majority of you are captaining Watkins, but then there's also quite a close percentage on Mbumo. So just vote if you guys haven't. I need to protect my rank. Should I do Mateta to Watkins from -4 or Isaac to Watkins, or save a transfer to afford Isaac and Sarr to Evan Nielsen and Saka? I mean, those moves look pretty good. I think you do Mateta to Watkins. or Isaac to Watkins? I think Mateta to Watkins because you might want Isaac against Everton. And Isaac to me is more of a saving rank than Mateta is. Mario is saying, what do you recommend? If I have a 30-point lead, I'm trying to protect and my opponent still has his bench boost. I have a similar team to yours, but I've Wood and I brought in Watkins now. That's okay, Mario. I think that you just stick with what you have. 30 points is quite a large margin. With the bench boosts, this week, I don't think his bench will look that great. And next week, there's rotation, so we never know. Spencer, you're saying that you're starting, you can't bench De Bruyne or Salah, so you're starting Rodgers rather than Visa. Your team must look pretty good though, Spencer, so I guess that's a compliment. KDB, is it safe? Samir, I probably would go not Kevin De Bruyne. I think it's fine to keep him, but captaincy is a little bit far. Sell KDB for Palmer or Roll and bring in Saka next week. Llewellyn, it depends if you want to captain Palmer. If you want to captain Palmer, then go for it, but you probably don't, and therefore I would just roll. Would you start Savinha over Munoz, Konza, Neco Williams, or Saliba? And what back four should I go for? I've got Guardiola and Raya. I'd bench Saliba out of those options, and I would start Savinha over Saliba. Sorry, I don't know why I'm tired. I'm just going to be tired of all these FPL points we score in Game Week 37. Mamush and Mateta to Watkins and Evan Nielsen for -4, unless I go Isaac to Watkins for free. Protecting first only by 20 points. Can't predict what second does, says Goose. Okay, so what you can do is you just do... Okay, I guess you can't do Mateta to Watkins. Do you have enough? I think the -4 looks okay. Because if Mamusha's benched again, then I think you pay it off anyways. Christian, I'm chasing rank. Would you bring in Rodgers for Saar? Already have Haaland and KDB. So if you're chasing rank, I'd go for Asensio instead of Rodgers. That's like the mega differential play. Hi Davey, I can't afford Mateta to Watkins because I brought in Kevin De Bruyne for Saar last week. How do you think I should get Watkins in? Teams are similar. Okay, so you can do Watkins in for Isaac. That's also okay. And if you do a but I don't know if I would do a -4. I might just hope Mateta starts. But you could do a -4 and then do Evan Nielsen for Mateta. But I might just keep Mateta then. But that's an option, AM. But you would also just not have Watkins if you're not too keen on the captaincy. Who would you sell? Mbeumo for Saka next week? Would you sell? No, I'd probably just keep Mbeumo. Healthy 80-point lead in my mini league, so Tris, I don't think I have to worry about much. Should I do a -4 Isaac out for Watkins or just roll and get it next week? If you want to captain Watkins, then the -4 is okay. If you guys have watched my stream for a while, you know that I always say a -4 for the player you want to captain is okay. That's fine. You think Savinha is likely to start? Northy, I have no idea. I will not lie to you. I don't know who's going to start. I don't know who's going to start in the FA Cup. I don't know who's going to start next midweek. He could not. Alex says, I'm captaining Rodgers because Olympian's gone. Yeah, so I mentioned this earlier on, Alex, but I saw that tweet before I went live. And I was like, okay, pause. Let's just maybe go for someone else. Because, yeah, let's just say he hasn't had the best of luck with captains. What rank would you want to finish this season? I'd want to finish top 10k, but I don't think it's going to happen. So at the moment, if we can get 2 green arrows, I'll be happy. Who would you start? Saar or Rodgers? Definitely Rodgers, Nikhil. Mamush or Visa this week? Visa. There's just too much uncertainty at the moment with Mamush. What's your team now? Okay, so I think we can go off of this because I think I might have left this up for a bit too long. I do apologize for that one, guys. Let's go back to my team. And as you can see, there's been no transfers made. But we are looking at Watkins in for Mateta, and then he will be our captain, I think. Unless you guys can see another move that you think I would do. I've got 4.7 in the bank. You can see that just above here, 4.7. So I can do a massive upgrade. Unfortunately, not like a Saar to a Saka, that sort of thing, though. Konza or Munoz on the bench. I think I would, Glenn, that's close. But I think I might just go for Munoz for the attacking threat. Asensio captain this week, then going full Maverick to catch up to first one in league. So Christian, good luck with that. I think this is the game to do it though, because Ramsey's out injured. I just want to go check. I want to check who Asensio was subbed for in the previous games. Okay, so Sensio was subbed for John McGinn. Which isn't too great. But then Ramsey got sent off. So Asensio is guaranteed to play this game. It's just the next game I worry about. And then in the previous game, he was subbed for Ramsey on 60 minutes. So that's the only thing. And then Tielemans is injured, right? Yeah, I think Tielemans got injured. So maybe then McGinn drops into the midfield. Asensio in the... And then... How long is Tielemans out for, though? I guess that's the question. I just think Rodgers, I mean, he's gonna play 90 minutes. He's not a bad option. I guess Asensio is the more exciting pick, though. To my earlier question on Rodgers for Saar, is it worth a -4 through Mateta to Watkins? I'm within 10 points in all my mini leagues. If you want to captain Mateta, then the -4 is okay. You see what you can do, Connor. You can rearrange your transfers. We can say, I'm doing Saar to Rodgers for free, and then I'm doing Watkins in for Mateta for a -4. We can do that. Defo going Haaland out for Watkins. Not sure if I go Rodgers, Palmer, Salah, Saka for this week. Worried about Saka rotation for 38. So I get you, Andy. I mean, Rodgers probably makes sense, but Palmer does as well if you can afford him. Any confirmed team before the crash today? Have there been any crashes recently? I kind of feel like it's been forever since the last crash. At the moment, I definitely will be doing Watkins for Mateta, so maybe we do that move. If you guys are getting a bit antsy. Okay, I don't see any... I don't see any early team sheet news. I just see some funny memes at the moment. That's all I see. So I guess we can consider... Sorry, I just want to bring up chat again. No worries, no worries in a labyrinth. Should I bench Isaac for Bowen? Oh, should I bench Isaac for Bowen for -4? Okay, Nick, I'll just repeat that question because there's two parts to it. So, should I bench Isaac for Bowen, but are you bringing Bowen in for -4? Then no. Start KDB or Evan Nielsen. Koos. I mean, I think you have to go for Kevin De Bruyne there. Your guys' teams must be stacked if you're asking... I thought there was going to be no benching dilemmas this week, but it seems like you guys' teams are absolutely mad. Okay, so let's just plan if we were to do the Watkins move. I think you guys can see the team sufficiently. Okay, so Watkins in. That leaves us with 3.2. Okay, we could do Eze out for 10, but that doesn't give us enough for Saka. And it doesn't give us enough for Palmer. The one transfer I wanted to just check, if I restore the player... Okay, if I did Saar out for Palmer... I can't do that, but I could do Eze for Palmer. I could do Saar for Saka, but, I mean... I just feel like Eze and Saar have a better chance of starting against Wolves than Mateta does. So maybe we just do this move. We just do the Watkins move. But then next week, it kind of puts us in a bit of a box. So what we could do is we could do Eze to Clivert, which is probably what I'll do. I don't know who I captain then. Maybe Salah against Crystal Palace just for the bans. Yeah, maybe that's what we do. And then we play Murphy against Everton. And we bench Eze. Maybe that's the play. Okay, so if we bring Watkins in this week, we can still do a -4 if need be. For someone like a Rodgers or an Asensio. So we could do Saw out for Rodgers. That could be a play. Or we could do Asensio. But that's also obviously from -4. So will Rodgers or Asensio score more than 4 points this week and next week if we do play him? Then Saw. I mean, maybe, probably right. We're captaining Watkins, so we hope Aston Villa do well. Does it make sense then to do Rodgers or Asensio in? Between Rodgers and Asensio, we might just go Asensio because he's slightly more differential. But I do think Rodgers is the better FPL pick. But that's the current plan. So like Watkins in for Mateta looks pretty locked. It just depends on what I do else. Plan for today, probably Mateta out for Watkins and captaining. My head-to-head opponent has Bowen. So should I bench Isaac for Bowen from -4? No, I think you just hope that Nottingham Forest keep a clean sheet. That's what I'd do. Okay, thanks Vernon. Which stream do you have unmuted? I think that's the better question. Hopefully not both of them. That would be absolute madness. I have 2 free transfers. Okay, Andy. So Haaland to Saw for Watkins Palmer, with an eye on Palmer to Saka for 38. So Andy, now I'm thinking, because I'm like, is there a better player to punt on this week? Probably not. I think Palmer's probably the best punt. But you are requiring another transfer. So you could do some, but I mean, then you lose another forward. Yeah, to me, those moves look good. Like, I mean, on paper, those moves look ridiculous, to be honest. Like, look, Haaland can do well, but as we've said, like, if he's benched, then I think automatically it's a good move. So, yeah, I think those look good. I think there's not many people that can do Watkins Palmer in. Cunha and Bradley minutes. I think Cunha should probably start, maybe get about like 60, 70, and Bradley should also be playing. Unless Trent features. And that's a bit of an uncertainty. I have the same team as yours, but KDB instead of Saar. Would you captain KDB? No, I wouldn't captain KDB. And also, what would your one transfer be? So how much more is Watkins then? Okay, so you can't afford. I think what I would do then is I would do Mateta. I would do Mateta to Evan Nielsen. That's what I think I'd do. I think that probably makes the most sense. Start Raya or Sells? I'd start Sells. Sky saying, what can I do Isaac to Watkins? Wood to Watkins. I do Isaac to Watkins. Who do Nottingham Forest have? They have Chelsea in the last week, but they also have to win. They have something to play for. So do Newcastle, but who knows? I think the Isaac to Watkins move looks okay. Wood to Watkins probably looks better on paper. But I think, I mean, I like Wood's fixtures. I think your -4 to Rodgers and Mateta to Watkins is a solid move for the last 2 weeks. Yeah, I think it can be solid. The only thing though is, do I need Rodgers next week? I mean, maybe. United aren't the best. A bench boost game week 38, bad idea, rotation first? They are, but I mean, your players should be getting about 60, so it can be a nice week for differentials. Start Raya or Areola. If you own Isaac, Areola, but if you don't, then Raya. No, if you own Isaac, then Areola, but if you don't own Isaac, then Raya. Watkins triple captain this week. I think I might punt on next week rather. Those fixtures seem to be a bit more exciting. So we do have just 15 minutes. Philippe, I'm not trying to ignore you, sorry. I see you said 1.9 million in the bank. Let me check your other question. I have KDB and Wood instead of Son Mateta and have 2 free transfers. What should I do? Overall rank 5k. Very nice rank, Philippe. If you have KDB and Wood instead of Son Mateta, I would do Eze to Rodgers. And then captain maybe Mbumo. I think Mbumo captain will be pretty popular. I think Watkins captain will be the most popular. So what you can do is Isaac. You can do Isaac to Watkins. Actually, scratch that. Scratch what I just said. I would do Isaac to Watkins. And you only have 2 free transfers. Isaac to Watkins and Eze to Rogers. That's what I think you should do. Sorry, Philippe. I'm not trying to ignore you, brother. Is anyone captaining someone not on the list? So at the moment, 52% of you are saying Watkins, 8% are saying Palmer, 12% saying Salah, and 28% saying Mbumo. So Palmer captain is as differential as you get. Can you do a freer template before next game week? Okay, Jag, are you talking about a free it for game week 38? We can do that in the deadline stream. Yeah, sure, Andy. Let me just give me a second. Yeah, I think it looks good, brother. I mean, like, I think it's as good as you're going to get. So the only thing I'm thinking about is, do I start Dan Burn over Saliba? That's what I'm currently contemplating. Because I'm kind of hoping that Isaac scores, so therefore Saliba gets benched. I mean, not benched, he loses the clean sheet. So then do I go for Dan Burn over Saliba? I think I'm kind of playing it quite safe there, though. Would you do Isaac for Watkins? 0.1 too short for the Mateta move. And then start Murphy 352. I think I might just start Mateta over. I mean, yeah, in that situation, if you're going to keep Mateta, then it's fine benching him for Murphy. Do I do Isaac to Watkins? Wood to Watkins. Okay, yeah, so I think in your situation, Sky. What did I say earlier? Did I say Wood to Watkins? I think you do Isaac to Watkins. Bench one of Sa, Eze, or Isaac. I bench Sa, Adam. Areola or Raya in goals. So yeah, Steve, as mentioned earlier, I think if you have Isaac, Areola. If you don't have Isaac, Raya. Do you think Kiwior starts, Gary? Yeah, I think he should. I think the full starting 11 for Arsenal should be there, and I think that's Kiwior in defense. I'm on the Haaland captain. Okay, so we have to lock in a move now. And that move is going to be Mateta to Watkins. Do we confirm this? Now, I was thinking about... Okay, I can't do that anyways. So Mateta to Watkins. Okay, so that's the first move we're doing. Now, do we take Sa to Rogers? That's the only thing I'm contemplating. Who's your captain? Now, it'll be Watkins. Okay, we're going to end this poll. And now you guys can also vote. So the only reason why I wouldn't do Murphy to Rogers is because if Murphy starts against Everton, it's a better game for me. Okay. You guys can let me know, should I do this? I don't usually do what chat says, but maybe you guys... Would you do Rogers in for Saul for a -4? Oh, I guess I could do Sar to Asensio. That's also a possibility. Let me go and check if there's any projected lineups about Asensio. Okay, I'm just checking some projector lineups. Yeah, so I think, does Asensio maybe have a bit more variety? Why is it a -4? Because I only had one free transfer. So you can see I only have one. It would be from -4. Have you done? Yes, I've done the Watkins move. That's locked in. Sorry, I just missed the... I'm just considering this. So this is the final team. I'm just considering if I should do Sar to Asensio or Rodgers. I mean, do we just take the little bit of a punt? Or do we just play it conservative? Okay, 54% of you are saying take 55 now saying take the hit. That is close. I think I have to decide with 5 minutes to go. I can't leave it later than that. If you can do it for free, yes, I would do it. If you have 2 free transfers, I think I would do it. But if it's for a -4, it's a bit tougher. Especially if we go for Sar and Sar starts against Wolves. I think that's a pretty good game. I would go with Rodgers over Asensio. Yeah, I think Rodgers is slightly more nailed, but Asensio could be on penalties, and that's the big thing. He has missed 2 out of the last 3 though, which is not great. Best goalkeeper this game week? It probably would be Pickford. I would love to do the -4, but I'm 15 points behind my mini league. Too risky for me. Let's take the -4, attack the final week. So if you're bringing Rodgers, who would you bench? I would just take Sar out for Rodgers, so that's my team. I think we keep what we have. But I'm hoping that Spurs do. I'm hoping that Aston Villa do well anyways, because I'm captaining. Okay, 51% of you are saying I should do it. Okay, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to go for Asensio instead of Saw. Okay, I'm going to do a -4. I've just done it. So that's going to be our final team. I'm not super comfortable with it, but I think it is what it is. I know it's a punt, so you guys don't have to do that. You're going to stick with the first one. I just get that team locked in. I'm going to post it to Discord quickly. It's purely a punt. So if it fails, I guess it is what it is. But the sensible option is to just do the Watkins move. That's what I'll say. But I'm going to... Actually, I didn't agree with you. 51% I should go for Rodgers, and then I went for Asensio. MD, let's hope he's not. I think he should start this game. Touch wood, but he should start this game, but next week's a different story. So let's just hope that he does something against Spurs. Why not Rodgers? Because I'm going as a punt. With 2 weeks left, I could have gone for Rodgers. A lot of people own Rodgers, so I'm going for Asensio. That's just basically the thinking behind it. Start Konza. Yes, yo, you start Konza. I don't have Konza, though. I'm chasing 6 points. Should I do the Sar to Asensio move? If you're chasing 6 points, I mean, I don't think it affects the... I think you can still do it. Mateta replacement, Vardy's short term, very short term, like 1 week, because he's not going to play next week. Otherwise, I'd probably just go for Evan Nielsen. Early kickoff, remember, yeah, that is true, but I don't know, sometimes it doesn't apply for Friday nights. We do have 2 minutes to go. Start Martinez or Flecken. I would go for Martinez. But if you had Rodgers, would you start him over Saar? Yes, definitely. If you have Rodgers, start him over Saar, like 100%. Kian, I would, because it's nearly dinner time. You should start Burn instead of Saliba. Yeah, I know. I just feel like I've done enough Maverick things, so I'm just going to keep Saliba there. But Dan Burn does offer... Let's maybe check. Let me check to see if I can get some final... What about captaining Asensio? That's a step too far, I think, for me. I'm fine just owning him. Super differential shade. I mean, he's fine. I think there's more exciting punts out there. Start Munoz or Williams? I start Munoz. If you have Munoz, he's got great attacking threat. So basically what I'm just looking for now... okay, but it's like a minute to go. I was checking who's got more attacking threat between Saliba and Dan Burn. But it's taking forever to load, so I'm just going to leave it. Any early team sheet news? I don't see anything. So no early team sheet news, and unfortunately I think we've got like 25 seconds, so let me... Captain Watkins or Palmer? Andy, that's tough. I think I still would go for Watkins. I think Aston Villa have more to kind of play for with Watkins up front. I know that Chelsea still have to win, but they haven't been in the best of form. But I mean, both are great options. It's literally like popular versus analytics, basically. Captain Beto chasing my mini league, Adam. I don't know if I'd go for him. Kevin saying, you premature, Kevin. Unfortunately, it's not. It's only now that it's TUPD time. See, Christian was right on the money, as well as Akash. So time up, pens down. If you know, you know. Thank you for hitting this deadline with me. It's a bit of a punt we've taken. We've gone for Asensio. We're just hoping that he does okay. a minimum of, if he scores a 15 pointer, I'll be okay with it. Let's just say that. Like, I'm willing to take a 15 pointer. I hope that Aston Villa do well tonight, as I do have 3 of their team. So let's just see what Spurs team kind of pitches up. No worries, Andy. Thanks a lot. I'm going to let you guys get back to your Friday nights or early Saturday mornings if you guys in New Zealand, Australia, or your Friday afternoons, wherever you guys are around the world, because it's 1 week left of content. So Game Week 38 is on the horizon, and that's going to kind of lead us into the end of the FPL season. So let's hope it's a green arrow for Game Week 37 and a green arrow for Game Week 38. I always hope that the green arrow is in our favor, so I'm going to hope for it once again. But for the time being, I'm signing off. It's been Davey FPL, and I'm out. Cheers.